Hello, my homies, and welcome back to another episode of the Please Do Tell podcast. I'm your homegirl, Ronnika, and I am here with.
Hey, it's me, Jeffrey. What's going on, Ronnika? How are you?
I'm well in yourself.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Can't complain. Look, it's been one of those weeks. We in February. It's like the birthday hangover.
I
You know,
know.
shout out still to the January birthdays
Hmm.
and the Aquarius that are still rocking it hard. But yeah, it's like a little hangover this time. It's right after the birthday, so so you really want me to work, huh?
That part.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
It's good to see you.
good to see you too.
As Jeffrey said, we are in the month of February, also known as Black History Month.
Correct, correct.
Give it its respect. We've been in this for, well, Black History Week was 100 years ago. Black History Month is only 50 years old. So we've got so much work to do, my homies. So,
Don't be knocked talking about only 50 years old.
I
Only
mean,
50.
because I got to think, I know people turning 50 this year. That is crazy.
It's
It's
epic,
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, just even to know that it's within your lifetime, like
Mm-hmm.
typically things that we find out like Independence Day or
Mm-hmm.
Easter, like it's so long before you that you like, it was on the calendar before anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
and you talking about Black history, and then get an opportunity to celebrate culture, Black culture, and its impact in America, whether it was, just like what your shirt says. I don't know if the viewers can see, but yeah.
Wait. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. I can't stand all the way up, but where's the number 8? Where's the do you have your I don't know if I can have an applause for my sweatshirt. I don't
No.
want to choke myself either.
So what do your sweatshirt say?
It says our history did not begin in chains.
Correct.
Brother
Correct.
Malcolm
Correct. Correct. So
X.
in other words, so it's just important to know so much about your history. And you know, a lot of other coaches say, hey, it's so new, we don't know. Well, it's important because when they start talking about, well, my great 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 came from
Oof.
Germany, you're like, well, it's the yours came by choice, mine came by change.
Ooh.
But it's still a part of the American experience. So
Mm-hmm.
just like I don't discount your ancestry of uh, transportation over to the Americas, um, please don't frown upon my chain experience to America. So yeah, Black history is important. It's 100 years. With Carter G. Woodson with uh, Black History Week, and then it becoming Black History Month 50 years ago. So yeah, you guys gonna hear a lot of us continue to say it over, because it's important for you to tell somebody else what you have heard, because a lot of times it's not going to be taught in your school. We see it now. We see like literally books that we read in
Mm-hmm.
school that are not, if you have it at a school, that teacher, that administrator, that school board, probably the superintendent, somebody's losing their job.
Yeah.
So, and those things are important. Sorry for the little ramble.
No, that's what we needed because Black History Month is honoring true complexity and lived experiences. So this didn't just start 100 years ago. Our history is way beyond that. Just think. America is only 250 years old.
Correct. Correct. Means that's why when you get into a little bit of politics and you hear like the Chinese say, you're only 250 years old. Like we've been around thousands of years. So
Yeah,
we have a
yeah.
strategy, but the next seven generation of us are going to have the same strategy. So no matter how many of your new presidents that come every 4 years, like we're going to have our own, strategy. So they're creating their own history, and just naturally, so do every other race. They create their own history. That's why it's important. That's why it's important to document it. A lot of people in our culture, we have lost storytelling, because I was talking to my cousins earlier this week, and like I would remember sitting down, like you just talking to my grandmother, because I live with my grandmother. So I was always there for a conversation. So from that standpoint, they learn about the Bible, they learn about, uh, the facts of life,
Hmm.
birds and bees, things of that nature, just by sitting at the knee of my grandmother, and that influence. So it's important with storytelling. And so, even as in working with youth that
Hmm.
I've been working with for almost 20 years, like storytelling is important. Because
Hmm.
they already have a connection. It's just like when you're like, and then when somebody say something, you're like, that's it, and then that's your connection, and you don't know, but that's psychological chains of slavery, where you can feel that you're connected with someone, but because we've been pulled apart, for over 100 years, it became a mental, condition.
Mm.
Yeah, psychological chains of slavery. It's like, I mean, no one wants to say, hey, you can get help for it. But realistically, you have to deal with that, internally. We see it internally in our community. Where you're talking about inter-racism, things of that nature. So
See how I told Jeffrey in the pre-show, like, "Oh, you on one tonight," and here we are.
yeah,
Here we are. Here we are.
yeah.
Here we are. Here we are. All right, we're
We
gonna
actually
go.
we actually can talk about that, maybe next week, about kind of like inter-racism. Like since it's Black History Month, it's all of us, all the cousins at the table. Let's talk. You know,
Mm.
let's talk about it.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on,
Yes.
cuz. You know, we have something to talk about. A little beef. So
Mm.
let's keep it in house.
I love that. So with that being said, Jeffrey, you raise a point of being around elders and hearing these stories. But are there, and I'm going to bring this up because now we're in the story time segment, is sharing a moment when you learned an important truth about Black history, family, or community outside the classroom. My story is pretty quick, but during the exhibit of retracing their steps. So if you're new here, if you're a new homie, um, it'll be almost 2 years ago. We did an exhibit of the Great Migration from my family from the South to the Midwest, and telling that story of how they migrated to Ben Harbor, Michigan, and the impact that they had on community and the community that they built while living here, and of course the families that they've made. Me being a product of that. So I had someone going through the exhibit and was asking me the question of, I had a plaque that my grandfather was honored with, I believe in the 1970s. And it was John Williams for your contribution to the community, justice of the peace, all of that. But the guy is reading the plaque and he said, so out on top of your granddad being the justice of the peace, do you know what this plaque means? I said, that plaque has been on the wall. I just remember grabbing that plaque when before my dad died. Like we were just trying to make sure all of like all the family things were in the same place. And so I grabbed that, didn't really think about it, but I just thought it was cool that, my granddad's name was on it and it said just of the peace. And he said, no, your granddad was a part of like this, the DSEG for this area in education. I'm sorry, what?
Explain DSEC.
So with deseg, with when we think about segregation, so desegregation is the opposite of segregation. So if you know about segregation, it's the separation. And he was saying that with my granddad, I'm guessing because if you think about historically, black folks in Ben Harbor were in the township; they weren't in the city limits. And like you think of, and if you have a map or if you know Ben Harbor, we're talking about like the town line, or they'll say, oh, the black folks were out east. So they were just kind of to one school. But then as we began to expand into the city, you're able to go to all these neighboring schools. And he said your granddad was a part of that.
Wow.
And it made me think, gosh, that's one thing I don't remember hearing in the household. I just knew him as granddad, Grandpa John. That's all I knew.
Right.
So I think the older that I get, the more that people in the community come up and tell me stories. Or shout out to Mrs. Laverne Wilhite, Mrs. Brenda Banks. I'm trying to think who else was there. Queen Mamie Yarbrough. I know the Ellis sisters. But I remember being in Lake Michigan College's one of the theaters, and Brenda Banks said to me, you know, your family was like celebrities. You know that your granddaddy's house was like the black folks courthouse.
Wow.
She said he was the justice of the peace. Like you had to go through him. And all I can remember as a little girl is there was a typewriter, there was a the electric calculator, the one that you had to plug into the wall and with the receipts and all that. I mean, that's the only thing I wanted out of that office. We used to play office all the time, but not knowing all of the history that happened in that office. So, and that is shout out to community members that they'll stop me. I see the work that you're doing, but let me share your story about what I know about your granddad, which is I treasure it every time someone does that to me. I'm so thankful for that. So that was something that was definitely not in the textbooks. Family wasn't really talking about it. Community was telling me these stories.
Look, as soon as you mentioned that electric calculator, I remember you could play on it, and if it had like the rolling tape, you could
Yes.
you could be hitting them numbers, and it'll still after you done, it'll still you be like, oh, I'm faster than the calculator. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Doubleday. You would only get the paper from Doubleday. I remember I used to beg my mom, like, we're out of paper. She said, okay. I used to really think that I worked at I wanted to be wherever I can work on a cash register because I love pushing buttons. To this day, I still love
Well,
pushing buttons.
that could go either
Here we
way.
go.
Because if you want to go out here and push people buttons for no reason, just because you want to see, and sometimes I've seen it. So
What
yeah,
about you?
look, oh yeah.
I'm like, what? Since you
I
being
mean, because
shady, what
it
about
was good.
you?
The story was good because to have that much influence, because like you said, in a small community and you're on the outskirts, so he became like that. He was like the mediator
Mm-hmm.
when it came to business between the blacks and whites in locally. And
Mm-hmm.
that's and you were like, and I just thought he was granddad.
Yeah.
You know, that was a, yeah. I was over here with my story. You kind of threw me off for a second
Sorry.
there. So anyway, but I guess I do have one.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know how something can be impactful for you. So the first thing I did is when you say you learn a life lesson late in life, as in, mm, I was thinking of the question. Hey, well, I remember when I was like 3 years old, my mom said, "Hey, you got two options: you either go to military or you go to college." Like that was I don't want to say the norm. I'm only a kid, so that was the norm for me because that was the standard. That's what you're doing. Well, in learning. obviously we know about college, but I would always like, it's not like too many people that I'm close with that she would know about the military. You dig a little deeper, living with my grandmother, on that knee, by that knee,
Mm-hmm.
learning from her. Well, her husband, which is my mother's father, was in the military. So that created structure, you know, um, in the 40s and 50s in America for a black man. If you were in the military, you were drafted, you got some privileges. You understand? So, um, in learning that from the military, it gave me kind of like an affinity, which later on in life, which I did have an opportunity to make a decision between college and military, but because of growing up and seeing Desert Storm when I was like 10 years old, not even 10, no, like 8, seeing Desert Storm and many other conflicts in America, I was like, I ain't doing that.
Mm-mm.
I gotta
Mm-mm.
do this. I gotta do either these sports or this college thing. But the crazy part about it is my best friend actually did the military thing. And reflecting, and as I got older, he was one of the first people that I could say that at our age that I actually respected him beyond just he's my friend. You know how you know how you go to school with people, and then when you see them again, and you like they're like a totally different person, and then you have to make a decision if you're going to accept that person, or maybe they don't accept you, things of that nature. So it's a friend, but you've been separated, so you don't know if you're gonna friend back up. But here it is, years later, him and we're still friends. But that's the military, the respect for the military, and that being like one of my only two options of what was created success for me. Um, it definitely um, kind of was an aha moment for me of how the military influenced my life
Mm.
through my grandfather.
That's a good one. Okay, granddads.
Yeah, and then the crazy part about it is I never met my grandfather. My grandfather passed away in 1979. I'm an '80s baby. We He passed away a decade. I mean, not even in the same decade I was born, but definitely, how your words or your presence can have an influence for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Or as they say, lest we forget.
Okay, all right. Because I was going to ask you a question, but I want to go right into culture check.
Gotcha.
But did any of your cousins get to experience your granddad?
Um, my older cousins.
Have they ever talked about it or no?
Talked about them.
Talked about granddad.
No, not really. I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
I got more because of my experience of living with my grandmother. I got more firsthand experience of his kids, not mine.
Mm.
My experience is I have cousins, but I had the cousins that were older, and so they, old school black families. If you could, you would separate. Like you had an older group, and then you had a younger group, and maybe one of the people that was like a part of the older group, they would monitor the younger ones. Well, I was a part of the younger one because my cousins they were just older then. Um, but outside of that, all of us that was in that's '80s babies, we were considered the younger ones. And then I got
Mm-hmm.
cousins that are like '70s babies, but they were like, you know, teenagers trying to go
Yeah.
on about their business. So they may know, but I never really had conversations with them like to that extent.
Okay.
But I got it from like I would hear my mom or my aunt, which is my grandfather's youngest daughter. He passed away in '79. She graduated from high school in '81. So she was in high
Mm.
school when he passed away. So
Okay.
I get that portion of it.
Yeah.
However, and then I live with my grandmother, which is his widow.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So from that standpoint, I even got the raw. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I got the bone. You
Yeah.
know what I
Some
mean?
stuff I don't need.
Correct,
Yes.
correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Mm, I got
So,
it. I got it.
so story time, story time. Yep,
Because history lives in the everyday.
correct, absolutely.
All right. So I know I've talked about it before, but have a nonprofit called Story Salon because growing up, it was that Saturday morning in that beauty salon. It was community, but it was plenty of stories. And I was always taught that you listen, you don't participate. Because you're going to mess around and participate and you're going to tell our business and it's going to be connected to somebody else and then we're going to have a problem. So you just be in the listening under that dryer, even though I'm lifting it up a little bit because I'm trying to hear a name. That was me.
That's
that,
nosy.
that was me. But I knew
That's
not to
nosy.
repeat anything. I knew not to repeat anything. But I wanted to quickly discuss just how Black history shows up in those different spaces as far as hair salons, barbershops, church, sports, music, protest, and family sayings. Um,
Well,
go ahead.
I'm just gonna shout out probably, you know, as a black man going to the barbershop or as a black boy going to the barbershop is important as a black man. It is it's everything. So I remember being a kid and my mom she wanted to take me to the barbershop. My uncle was like, nah. No, no, no. I got that little I got it. So shout out to Lady T's in
Mm,
Benton Harbor, Michigan Empire.
oh,
You
yeah.
used to go to Lady T's, and then Tony. Don't know much about Tony, but Tony cut every young person hair that if you know, you know. So, but here for years. But I do want to give a shout out to um a barber shop in Chicago
Oh.
called um damn Time Out at Shannon. It's based in Chicago. Actually, I found this barbershop through my mentor from college. Just happened to be in Chicago. I reached out because my mentor did a lot of traveling. Said, "Hey, I'm looking for a barber." He actually pointed me in a direction. I ended up going to the barber, meeting him, meeting his wife. Um, a year and a half goes by because it was like towards the end of my college years. Um, I'm getting my hair retwist, and it was a storm in South Bend, and the loctician was on bad business, and I called his wife out of the blue because I knew that she did hair, and she was like, "Well, I don't plan on taking on new customers," because she was actually transitioning to real estate. So,
Mm.
black people,
We
multitasking,
will pivot and pivot. Yeah. Mm.
and so Lydia actually invited me, and she ended up doing my hair for like 2 years. And so shout out to Time Out at Shannon's Barbershop. It's actually I'm so connected to it, as in one of my fantasy football leagues I was in for 10 years. I It's the other barber that's there. I used to travel every year for 10 years from either if I was in Michigan or somewhere in the Midwest, or when I moved to New York, still was traveling to come back to celebrate. I actually just came back and visit them maybe about 6 months ago, and I had the opportunity to see their new location in Chicago. It's like to see his vision of when I first met him and to see the culmination, and I want to say culmination, I want to say the evolution of how it's continue on and how of what he has now, priceless. He has a foundation that he that gives scholarship money back into the Chicago public schools.
That is
I
dope.
mean, yeah, like I could talk about them for a long time, but it's the barber shop experience, and that's just a cultural experience
Hmm.
of just going in there. I would go there and just hang out, or I would get my shape up, and then sit there for 3 hours. We're going to talk sports, but we're going to talk black politics. Because people say, "Oh, I don't want to talk black politics." Well, black politics is social issues with it's social issues plus political leverage. That is what black politics is, because some of your
Learn
local
something
representatives are
today.
black. So from that standpoint, learning uh, family life. I mean, the barbershop, just like you said, you were listening underneath as a little kid. It's still that enriching. I don't believe in a toxic environment going to a barbershop, because there are barbershops that do have a toxic environment
Mm-hmm.
where they're disrespectful, um, 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 uh, not open to new customers, just like the whole process. So I have talked to people and they're like, I hate going to the barbershop. And I'm like, for real? You're not getting that cultural nurturement. You're not getting your circumment, as they would say. You're not getting your commune, because
Mm-hmm.
the barbershop has things that you don't want, but it also has so much more of what you do need. Yeah.
Okay. So my story is because you didn't. I was going. I was like, okay, I'm gonna let Jeffrey. But this one, when you say that there's some toxic, but there's some really good ones. So I went to Maxie's beauty salon. Boy, I believe I turned 16, and at 16, when I got to this salon, my hair was ate up so bad from the previous stylist, that we had to cut all my hair off. So that was probably my first time. That was my first time wearing a shortcut. So I had the Halle Berry, Strictly Business, a Different
At
World
six?
cameo. Huh?
At 6?
16. He gets on my nerve.
They mess you up.
Picture, but he makes me so sick.
Oh man, that was great. You set yourself up
I
right
did. I
there.
did. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
All right, let me tell my
And I remember coming back to school and guys being upset that I cut all my hair off, but not knowing that I had to start all over. But anyways, I go into the salon. I'm afraid. So she says, "Hey, we're gonna have to cut a whole lot off." Okay, that was also my first time getting my eyebrows arched with a razor, and I because she said she looked at me, and the funny thing is, years later, coming back, moving back, I went back to the same style. So she's doing my hair today, like she does my hair present day, and we laugh about the stories, the culture, everything that happened during that time period of me being at Maxie's and then now being in her own shop. But there was so many different things that would occur as far as someone could be selling fish plates. Like you just never know. It's like all the bootleg DVDs and stuff. You had those people coming in selling products off the you. It was a beautiful experience. But there's
How do
two
you
things
think
that happen.
the nail person? What's their official title now? They started off there, the nail tech.
Yes, the nail
Yeah,
techs. The
yeah.
yes, there was even a nail tech there. Like later on, there was a nail tech there too. Um,
The evolution of the business.
Two things. When I was there, so that means okay, 16. So by my senior year, I was still going there. And one of the other stylists in the shop was my classmate's mother. So as soon as I come in, she said, "Hey, y'all, here come the class clown."
Mm.
She said, "I would have never guessed that you would have been a class clown. She said, "You just be so quiet in here. You just smile all the time. You really clowning up in that school, huh?" And then all the other stars like, "How you know, girl? It's in the yearbook." And I'm just sitting up here like,
Mm-mm.
and I said, "Yeah, my mom is pretty embarrassed." But they said, "But then I flipped a few pages and you was in the National Honor Society too." I'm like, "So you a smart clown?" I said, "All right, okay."
Ah, not a smart
All
clown.
right. Okay. So that was one thing. So fast forward years later, I'm telling Tish, that's who does my hair. I'm telling Tish about this video that I found from the 90s of my granddad's retirement party. So I'm showing her different clips and she's recognizing people in the video. She said, "Oh my God, he used to come in the shop. Yeah, I know exactly. Oh, you don't remember him coming in the shop? No." And then there was another person. She said, "Oh my God, that's such and such dad. And he died a few years ago." And I said, "Well, I uploaded the video to like a private site on YouTube so I could send you the link. And if she wants to view it, you can send it to her." So she ended up doing, I believe, the mother's hair the next week or so. And she sent it to so the lady's mother, so the ex-wife, widow, might be a widow, to the widow and to his children, and they were so grateful because there's not many videos of him.
Mm.
So when I think about just like these stories and connections that we have in these barber and beauty shops, it's that. It's really community. Cause for me, it was like I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was entertaining that all these gentlemen are in here. And I was like, okay, I don't know their names. That's why I was reaching out to people like, who are these people in this video? But it was so many people that I've been able to share that video with that have really cherished it, and it really started from me talking about it in the beauty salon.
Yeah, you can't. It's like the beauty salon, barbershop, and church all fall in the same category. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
you
sure.
gotta get one of the three. And growing up, like you gotta get it like before 16.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because a lot of times I remember like it got to a point where you would have people say, "Oh, I could cut your son's head." When I was like 7, 8 years old. Some dude trying to talk to my mom or something
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and my mom was like, "No, no, he goes to a professional." I remember her
Mhm.
saying, "He goes to a professional." You're like, "That nigga ain't no professional. He ain't no different than me." And then all of a sudden now, you talking about mama. You talking about the Tigers cub. She ain't trying to hear that. So you
Mhm.
missed the opportunity, and you ain't gonna get the money for the haircut, dummy. You know what I mean? Just a dummy. That's what I would be looking at like a little kid. Just a dummy. You know. Anyway,
It's like tuck your nuts and walk away. Tuck your nuts
yeah,
and walk
yeah,
away.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Swing and a miss, as I call it. Swing and a miss. Keep it going. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
This is probably one of Jeffrey's favorite segments.
Oh, which one?
At the playground.
You know.
Playground.
Oh yeah. Look, I was gonna go with all the lyrics this week, Ronnika. Look, craziness. One of our followers, shout out to Demond T. He actually text me. This is one of my classmates.
Mhm.
I've known him for years, man. Yeah, it's a whole story. That's another story time for another story. As he know, it's boy. If you know, but he texted me. He was like, "Yeah, I didn't even know about the pod, blah blah blah." But he was like, "You keep mentioning about at the playground, so here's the lyrics." I was
I love that.
like, "Oh, man." So shout out to
I
Demond.
love that. Shout out to Damon.
Thanks
Welcome,
and
my
adieu.
homie.
Welcome, welcome to the shenanigans. And you came during Black History Month, so we'll give you a
Oh,
pass.
okay.
We'll give
Okay.
light skin a pass. No, But actually, that's a joke. That's a joke because he actually, when we were in, because I've known Demond even beyond high school. We went to junior high together. He was Malcolm X. He played Malcolm X in the junior high play. So I gotta give him, and he's stern. He works in education still now to this day. Well, successful people.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
you gonna be
yeah.
successful.
Somebody, we just know that. We just know that.
I love that we just know
As
that.
a teacher, you're probably just cringing. You just know that. You know that. Lord have mercy. Okay, I have a question for you because I know we've talked about this before. But reflect on childhood or teen moments. But I want you to talk about when you notice race, power, or injustice for the first time.
Ooh. And it's crazy because you just popped this question as if I was running for Mr. Ben Harbor or something, or Mr. USA. But it's crazy. I do remember. It was seventh, eighth grade, and what I mean by seventh, eighth grade is I remember being in junior high and coming to seventh grade, and oh, you're so mannerable. Oh, you're so this. Oh, you're so that. All of the good adjectives, and that afforded me opportunities. Oh, you can work here. Oh, you can I'm seventh grade, but oh, you can work here. You can volunteer here. It's giving you access, which is cool, fine, because you're a kid. I was a kid that wanted to take initiative, things of that nature. It just so happened that all of these leaders at the time, they were white. Here I was, a brown, I'm a black kid. I'm not thinking anything of it. It's just like, hey, I'm just doing it. Hopefully it's in right. I'm getting these opportunities. Eighth grade, I got an opportunity to take U.S. history, and in the process of learning U.S. history, and already knowing my history from my mother, and growing up, um, I remember one day they wanted me to go and do something for another class. Like they were going to write me a pass out of missing this class. Well,
Okay.
it just so happened that it was the week that we were watching Roots. Like, and I was all entrenched, as in, even though I was exposed to Black history and Black culture growing up, I had never seen Roots. I had never seen Roots, as in passing, but it would be on the TV at my grandmother's house, like maybe during Black History Month. However, I was too young to even sit there long enough to watch Roots.
Mm-hmm.
Roots, and even in junior high, Roots was we watched Roots for 5 straight days. There was
I
no
was gonna
break.
say it was so many parts. Yes.
So from that
Yeah.
standpoint, I didn't go. And then I remember they questioned me on why I didn't go. I said, "Hey, well, I was watching a movie." They was like, "Oh, so you're gonna watch a movie other than this opportunity that we had for you?" So, all right. Well, I didn't know I was going to get punished on something that I didn't even ask to do. Didn't think anything of it because I'm a kid. I don't think anything of it. Finished the week, but of course, now you're kind of getting a little bit of interpretation of the experience of blacks in America, and then you start to see the mirroring of my experience as growing up in this middle school with these white leaders that were around. Like it was so crazy that some people will say, well, maybe he's trying to create a stretch. Nope. I remember when said individual came up to me and said, Jeffrey, um you've changed. And I looked at her like, what? Like, what does that even mean? Like, you're just different.
What does that mean?
I'll never forget that. Never. Goosebumps right
Mm.
now. Goosebumps and ashy elbows right now. I'm telling you, I'll never forget that But it let me know then that there were an adult was creating a wedge on the
Mm,
pin
mm.
that had no contact. But the powers of that pink thing in your mouth that my grandmother taught me ever since I was at her knee, it had taught me that this was now going to be a contentious. Look, I went from doing extracurricular activities, so they asked me to stop doing it to being accused of stealing. That happened in 8th grade.
There. Yep. I'm there. Yep. 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 Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
my first experience
Mm-hmm.
of, eh, you know, my skin is gonna be it's gonna be warfare. No matter how long I'm gonna be here. And the goal is to prepare a shield and a spear to make sure that we fight for justice and
Mm.
not for it to be just us. So yeah.
Okay. Drops mic.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
that was mine. Look, I was even staring at the camera because
Yeah. I was
it's
like, oh.
that's one I can lie detector test.
Mm-hmm.
I was there. It was the first time of being. It was it was like my innocence was a scab that was peeled back, and I had to, and they made me bleed.
Whew. Well, all right. Thank you for sharing. Whoa. I'm sure that so many people, our homies, can relate. Be sure to chime in, especially on that one. Um, Mine is actually in the neighborhood. I grew up in a pretty diverse neighborhood. I think I told you all about the acid story. The acid on the car and not really knowing. I think that was like my introduction to racism. But knowing how or seeing that, oh my goodness, my parents will go there for me. They will go there for me. So we live in a neighborhood where you can't really say it's definitely not a cul-de-sac, but it's I guess two streets feed into the main road is the best way to describe it, I guess. It's okay, I guess it is a cul-de-sac. Hey, thank you. I was like, it's not a true cul-de-sac, but it's a countrified cul-de-sac.
That-
So
That's awesome.
we're able to do a lap around the block like it's a circle. So as a little kid, especially once my training wheels are off, I'm able to burn this circle. I'm blocked by myself. It's not that big. I mean, it's just what probably three houses on. I'm trying to visualize the three houses on each street, probably
Not that
ranch
many cars.
style.
Not that many cars coming
Not
through.
that
So
many. No, you ain't gonna have no cars. You not. It's very rare. It's very rare that somebody's coming down the street. So I mean, burning it, burning it, burning it. There was a family that lived on one of the side streets of this circle. I'm gonna call it the circle block, and so it's right around the bend where I would be coming back to my house. And okay. I'm trying. Okay, because my dad was so colorful with his language. Um, I'm gonna just call it, they were like the not the Beverly hillbillies. They were just hillbillies. So let's just say hillbillies, and that puts it was white people. The type of white people that would walk down the street with no shoes or socks on. Those type of white people. Um, they had a dog, and as I was probably 7, burning up this block. They let their dog out on me.
Damn.
The dog comes out, starts biting at my ankle, like got has a hold of my sock. I'm trying to balance the bike and get home. I'm screaming. I get to the house. I tell, now my dad is there. So I'm like, oh, I tell them what happened, immediately calls the police. I remember the police there taking a statement. I remember my mom being upset. My brother's upset. Like my sisters.
Police came.
Everybody's. The police station is probably I could throw a rock at the police station from our house growing up. But my dad called it because he was like, if I handle it, I'm gonna be
I'm gonna
across that
catch a charge.
river.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch a
So
charge.
I'm going to call. My mom was like, I'm. So the police was there. They took a report and all that. I never had a problem out of them again. But yeah, that's what they did. They thought it was funny, and my dad was like, "Oh no, we finna pull power rank over here." So yeah, that's when I learned about, and that was before even the acid story. So if you haven't heard the acid story, I feel like I've told it. You might need to go back to a previous episode. But that was my very initial brush with racism
Yeah,
because it was
that's
only
a
because I was a little black girl.
to stick a dog on you. I'm surprised they
Mm-hmm.
ain't put that dog. Did they put the dog down?
And it was like a little bitty dog too. It was just like just nipping at my just nipping at my ankles. I was just like, what? Trying to shake it off and balance a bike as a 7-year old. Flashbacks of it right now. Shit. It was
Hey, y'all,
crazy.
y'all have to excuse me. Look, I was trying to hold look, I was all in on the story, but when you said it was a little dog, all right, you seven little dog. They just look. They just put little. They just thought y'all was two toddlers going at it.
I was so mad.
Well, you know, little dogs can be some of the meanest mutt
Yeah.
around.
I was
Oh
like,
my!
what is like get it off of me. Get it off. But I guess they did things to other kids in the neighborhood because I mean, like I said, it was diverse. So they were like, no, not mine.
He was like, I don't want to. I don't want to see any Browns. That's
Hello,
crazy.
police. Can you come around
Yeah,
here? Come holler at us.
that was great. That was good conflict, and that's what the police. You know, that was a little altercation. You know, all's well that ends well.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad that they put that they stick their dog on the
It
ground.
did dirty
That'll make
tricks
you scared of dogs. You know, a lot of people are scared of dogs. I mean, what could have happened?
that are.
You could have fell into the ditch. So
Excuse
yeah, I'm
me,
gonna have to
anything.
off camera. We got to definitely discuss these friends that scared of dogs, so I can tease them. So, definitely, you let that slip up. So sorry, friends.
We
I want to
do.
know who you are.
Oh,
Yeah.
we definitely have one that's a guy.
Oh man, I think I
Mm,
know. I may have played baseball with him or something.
yeah, maybe. No?
Hmm.
Mm.
But anyway, all right, all right.
You all, it's time
Phew.
for the foolishness files.
Oh damn, I'm early.
Yeah,
I'm
you are.
early.
Yeah, it's
I
just a
was.
little early. Yeah, that's why I just like foolishness
Or was
files.
I just being foolish?
You were just being foolish.
Okay, just like
Okay, because here are the files. Lighter moment where you realized you were taught something wrong. A myth finally got debunked, and we're talking about history be humbling. A teacher, textbook, or movie had you believe in nonsense. So I think I'm gonna go with that one. But go ahead.
um damn. I remember like not the specifics, but when it comes to like history, like it was big to learn black history as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I shared the story before of being kin to Booker T. Washington.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was important for your kid to know that you are connected to success.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we see now, America doesn't want to highlight you because of your color. And our culture is a a melody of colors. So it's kind of like the opposite of us.
Yeah.
We're gonna as soon as somebody come in, the first thing I gave a shout out to Damon in the playground. I said, he's lucky because he's yellow. You know, like we're going to talk about our melanin.
Hmm.
You know, and we're not gonna shy away from it. So, I think that's yeah.
So a movie I'm gonna go with that had me believing nonsense. I need you all to come in close, like if you are watching us, really pay attention. If you are listening to us, lean in. Because when I found out the truth, I wanted to fight. I wanted to just line people up and just swing. Lean on me. So, the ending. We all think that yes, a movie should always have a happy ending, just for our minds, for our culture. Sometimes, but to know that I could remember vividly. My grandmother, I believe she was still my dad's mom, still living. Everybody was in town. My aunt had just had my little cousin, which I believe is the youngest Williams grandchild. Let me just go on record with that. I'm the youngest girl. He is the youngest boy. But anywho, he was a baby, and we're watching Lean on Me at my parents' house. All of us in the living room, and then it's going off. And I remember my aunt saying, "You know, it didn't really end like that, right?" We looking. She said, "Yeah, they didn't pass the test." We like, "What? What?" Yeah, they everybody didn't pass. It's a great ending. It's not true. So I just need for us to just be truthful. I mean, can we have said 30% passed or even 20% passed? And Mr. Clark came in and saved the day. And I think because of that movie, we hear that so much, even in our own small community. Like, oh yeah, such and such is Mr. Clark, Mr. Clark. It's like, but if you knew the real story of what happened, maybe you wouldn't be advocating for that same behavior to be in our schools, even though we still, people joke about, oh, that high school is just like Lean on Me. It's not. But let's get in the practice of, even though it's our history and we love a happy ending, but we need to tell all sides of the story too. Because I was pissed when I found out that that wasn't how it really ended. I be needing the
look, the,
truth.
look. The crazy part about it is Patterson, New Jersey, is not that far. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it's at, in Patterson, New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
And um, yeah, it's very the demographics is very similar to the demographics that we grew up.
Hmm.
You, yeah, murder capital, Newark, those areas they're close, to each other. I didn't know the logistics of I don't remember the ending, to be honest.
You know,
I just, cold blue,
get them trains out the door. The enemy is near. Yeah.
and I learned one word.
Expeditiously.
Come on now,
Yeah, let's
expeditiously.
move expeditiously.
He's just like, I'm just gonna kill myself. But the crazy part about it, as being now, working in education or just being an educator, being a part of the community for the last 20 years of serving, um, to know that that kid was 15 years old on crack is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the error. Like we get upset now with a kid with a vape.
Yeah.
And, or it was something else I was going to mention earlier, but we have so much to talk about for Black History Month, specifically when it comes to Black culture.
Mm-hmm.
But we allow now, we call it crash out. But a crash out ain't nothing but a temper tantrum for an adult. Now you think that your grandma would allow you? I remember. Look, you raise your mouth around an elder, and they'll put you in your place.
Put you in your mother blucking place.
So I think that that structure of those stories, it's important. Like my family, when we get together, we talk about the ass whipping because it's important to create that structure. And what I mean by structure is when such and such goes to the military, they create that structure. So we just creating our family structure. You're not gonna. I don't give a damn what's going on in that family at that location. You're not gonna do it when all of us is together. And if you choose to do that, you're just not gonna be here.
Uh huh.
You know, it's
Yep.
just like even from my end, like when I would see chaos because it is not all structured because it's a black family. We're not gonna do no all structure.
Mm-hmm.
But if I start to see too much chaos, it's time to exit, and I'll be the first to say, "Hey, I gotta go." Yeah, like I mean that's the mature thing, having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But we still, we find the humor in the misinformation that is spread, but we also here to educate you and tell you, nah, dog, that ain't it.
yeah, yeah. Like that's it's a part of it.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Look, they put good words on it now. Constructive criticism and feedback, and no. Look, this is how it is from my perspective, and this is how you acting, and then you can give me how you think I'm acting, and that's cool too. And then we can say that we don't want to talk anymore and move on. Versus having this back and forth. You know, so it's a part of it.
You all, Jeffrey, are you ready? Oh, you all, it's rapid fire. Thank you. Thank you. All right, you got the questions queued up?
You got the questions queued up. Why you gotta No, I'm just joking. Yeah, that gave me a second.
Like, I'm trying to
No,
buy you
man.
some trying to buy you some time. Okay. What?
What's one?
Go ahead.
Oh
No,
man,
he was
damn.
ready. Look, he was ready. He was ready. Go ahead.
What's one historical figure you wish you could ask questions?
Hmm. Nat Turner,
Wow,
the rebellion. I want to know how we got
wow,
there.
wow. And
Yeah.
he was so young,
Mm,
so young. Uh,
yep. So Nat Turner.
Okay,
What about you? One. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, you answered that too.
okay.
One historical
Uh,
figure you wish you could ask questions.
Malcolm X.
Okay.
The transition from said criminal to um, fighting for justice.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. On brand. Okay. A history moment you wish you learned earlier.
I wish I learned the difference between slavery and Jim Crow
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because they're different. They're different.
Um,
What's a history moment you wish you learned earlier?
I honestly knew nothing about the Confederacy, like there being a president of the Confederacy. I didn't remember that coming through school. I just remember hearing about, President Lincoln, but I don't remember Jefferson Davis like at all. So I
Yeah,
kind of
me
wish I
neither.
would have. Yeah, never heard of him. And then, of course, knowing that being in the South, that's where all the blacks were. So, how did that play into American history? So, yeah, I wish I would have known before, especially before doing the internship, but I learned a lot doing that. This is Rapid Fire. We over here giving explanations. Okay.
I know, but it's so intriguing,
Mm-hmm.
at least to me.
All right.
Or what's one black story that deserves a movie now?
movie now. Um, I was kind of going back and forth between my own and do it because I'm gonna say it because I'm gonna just say it.
Tell me it's real.
Why am I struggling with even saying it? I think because it's like once you say it, it's like it's gonna be real. It's real. It's out there. Um, I'm gonna just say Journey of Many Souls. If you have not read my thesis on Great Migration, that definitely needs to be a movie.
How can we get a copy?
You can go on ProQuest if you are a scholar. You can actually read it in its entirety on that database. So that means you can go to the public library. You can read it for free, but you just have to be attached to a educational, like an institution. So as far as higher education, and yeah, the public library would have ProQuest as well. So you can just look me up and read. Not only, but it's about 60 pages, but it's a real page turner.
I mean, you said check it out. So if you
Mm-hmm.
don't know, we want to know how to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
There you go. One black story that you believe deserves a movie now.
Bill Cosby, the rise and fall.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Definitely would be here for
That.
hello pudding.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I mean, I watched all the docs, so yes.
Yeah.
Uh, uh
I mean, I ain't into I mean, everyone. I mean, in a documentary, if you do it well, I mean, your job is to retain the stories, correct?
mm-hmm.
But you do have the power of influence if you want to make sure that you want people to view your doc. So I would like to get like someone without, because whether you like it or not, whether you like him or not, I mean, Bill Cosby was an icon for like 6 years, though. So I mean,
Yeah.
we've dealt with Johnny Carson. Let me see about Bill Cosby.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. A word that describes how learning the truth made you feel.
A word that describes how learning the truth made me feel empowered.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. A word that describes how learning the truth made you feel.
Uh, complete.
That's a good one too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay.
Finish the sentence. Black history
Every
is.
day.
I'm gonna say Black history is all of us.
Mm.
They used to do this in my era.
Now the kids do this.
Yeah, it's
Cause I
crazy.
work, I work with young people too, so maybe. Miss Ronika, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Clock it, clock it, clock it.
The look, the evolution.
Right on the fingers. We went to look at us, look at us,
Yeah.
look at us, look
Yeah.
at us, look at
Still
us.
communicating though.
Yes, you still understood it.
Some people
Right.
say bravo.
That's what that was giving. Yep. And that slid us right on into the end of our episode.
Yeah. Already?
I know, I know, I know. I I want you all to walk away from this episode wanting to ask an elder a question, looking up some black history, some local black history in your neck of the woods, and even share a story that you've learned late. We're going to continue to say it because we love when you all send us text messages, leave comments on YouTube, you leave comments on all of our social media, on our personal pages, because I'm going to throw it over to Jeffrey on how we can find him. on socials, but we read all of them. Your DMs, we read them all. Jeffrey even saw, you know what? Jeffrey said he even went back and was reading um messages that people were sending or leaving on our videos or in the because we do love a good review if you're listening to the podcast as well. Okay, we love when you watch us on YouTube and when you listen to us on wherever you decide to listen to podcasts, as Apple, Spotify, just wherever you listen, right? But Jeffrey, where can the people find you to leave said messages?
Yep, I'll leave that in a second, but I want to give a shout out to Time Out at Shannon's Barbershop out in Chicago. I also want to give a shout out to Damon T for sending another bad creation. And it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy because we grew up around the same time. So, and those four little boys, if you had cousins and stuff around, they used to pick you gonna be this little boy, you gonna be that little boy. So it's a little crazy. It's like a little nostalgia thing. So that's pretty dope at the playground. Also, shout out to and rest in peace to Alex Haley.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I'm going to honor today with today's episode when I mentioned about roots and how it was so much impactful to my life. Alex Haley, who decided to do the work. And what I mean by do the work, he did the work, y'all. He went back to see how did his people get to America. That's how he found out that his great great grandfather was Kunta Kinte from the continent of Africa, who transitioned where his mother was Kizzy, and Kizzy had Chicken George, and Chicken George, that which led into Alex Haley. And so, if you haven't seen it, take the time. We still got 3 weeks left in Black History, and even if you aren't Black, check it out, man.
Please.
Check it out. You know, so you can find me on Instagram at Mr. Fantastic World at MrFantasticWorld. Or you can find me on Facebook. My first name Jeffrey, last name Booker. My first name Jeffrey, last name Booker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, or you can catch us on Thursday nights at 10:15. And what I mean by us, I'm talking about Ronnika and I.
Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, I'm sorry, 10:30, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time. 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Damn.
You
That'll
don't
be
want them
fun.
showing up at 10:15 a.m. or Tokyo time. You like, wait a minute.
Look, you can always hit play and come back and
That
get it.
is true. But you want to
All
catch us
right.
live, you better catch us at
Yeah,
night.
yeah. That's true. That's
Mm-hmm,
true.
mm-hmm.
So 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the If You Know You Know late night show on Facebook. Um, thank you. That was a lot, Renika, tonight. I was on one.
Listen,
I've
you
been
were.
on one, but you
You
definitely
were.
passed it to me today. So
It's Jeffrey was recalling everything, i.e., me, because in the pre-show he talked about my son works, but as he was just giving his information, it made me think about that scene also in the same movie when it's you can find Lisa and the McDowell's at
right.
McDowell's restaurant. That's what it was giving.
Look, but that's crazy. When you work for, they're not a nonprofit, but when you work for the Black, this is so random, y'all. But
Mm-hmm.
Black Awareness Rally was sponsored by a nonprofit, but they still did like a request to call for money and everything. It's so crazy. Look, we got to break down that movie. I don't
Yes,
know.
we do. Yes, we do.
Someone make
Yes, we
something.
do. Yeah, we
I
do.
know way too much
Way too
to
much.
not talk about it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. You too. Yeah, like all of it. Yes, we do. We love it to be. Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Uh huh. Uh huh. So you can find me, Ronika.Williams, Ronnika.Williams on Instagram, Threads, and I am Ronika Williams, spelled the same way, on Facebook and LinkedIn. I be forgetting that, like, I do hang out on LinkedIn. I be acting semi professional over there. I be. You hear me? I be acting. I be acting. I be acting. So, yeah, you can definitely find me in those locations. I also do my Manny Monday, so you can find me on Chicanilla Story. And then also, I told you all about Story Salon. So we are rolling out different archive launches this year, and I don't want you to miss it, especially if you love history, you love archives, you love storytelling. Check us out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it for me.
All right. Well, I just want to be heard.
Mm. So, Jeffrey,
What's the deal?
hmm, we out. Holla. See y'all next time.
Until.